Today we're working on distributive property. Our goal is that we can use distributive property. Our first thing is to find the area of the rectangle of 50 yards by 120 yards. So we know that the area formula is length times width. So we take 50 times 120 and we multiply them together and we get 6,000, and that is in yards squared. Moving on to our next problem. First we find the area of each little part. We have 30, apparently it doesn't like me to not pick up my pens, but I know that's noisy for you guys. I apologize. So 30 times 120 is 3,600 yards squared, and 20 times 120 is 2,400 yards squared. Now they want us to write a number sentence that shows that the sum of the smaller areas is equal to the area of the entire field. We found the entire field on the previous slide. So we take the one from the previous slide where we had 50 times 120, which we found to be equal to 6,000. And we're going to prove that they are equal by taking our 30 times 120 and adding it to our 20 times 120. So we get 3,600 plus 2,400. We add those together and we get 6,000. So 6,000 is equal to 6,000. Now we need to write two different expressions to find the area of the rectangle. So we're going to first look at 12. Sorry, apparently it does not like it if I don't pick things up, which is really annoying. Sorry, guys. So we get 12 times 3 plus 12 times 7, or we can do 12 times 3 plus 7 by adding the 3 and the 7 together down at the bottom and then multiplying by 12. And then the question for you guys is, which one do you feel uses fewer operations? And that's, I guess, a discussion we can have in class later or tomorrow. And then the next one would be 5 times 17 plus 5 times 4, or we can do 5 times 17 plus 4. I guess it did actually say that we should find the area of the rectangle. So this one, in my opinion, this one I think is easier because we do 3 times 7 gives us 10. 10 times 12 gives us 120. 3 times 12 is 36. 12 times 7 is 84. While I still get 120, that was a little harder to come by. Then, on the bottom one, 17 plus 4 gives me 21. 21 times 5 is 105. Oh, I've got the wrong pen in my hand. Oh well. And the other one, 5 times 17 is 85, working up because I'm running out of room, and 20. So I still get the 105, but that's just not as natural to me to work out, I don't think. I don't know. I guess it kind of depends on the numbers you're working with. So think about it. If you guys want, you can talk with your neighbor about it and discuss it quietly because other people are at different spots. Okay, so for this one, we need to draw a rectangle whose area can be represented by 7 times parentheses 11 plus 9. So I've already drawn the rectangle. We would put in a space to separate them. So you want, the line to separate it not quite in half, and I don't know if I'm not quite there, but that's okay. My 7 would go on this side. My 9 would go on the slightly smaller side than the 11. Okay, so that would be my representation. And then the other way, the other expression that we're asking for right here would be 7 times 9 plus 7 times 11. And it didn't say that we needed to solve it, we just needed to draw what it would look like. So we will move on to the next one when you are ready. Okay, for this one, we need to, we have an unknown length in the side. We need to write an expression to represent the area of this rectangle. This one I kind of like because it's fairly simple because we know that we find the area of a rectangle by just multiplying the two sides together. So it is 8x. That's it. Okay, for our next one, we need to write two expressions to represent the area of each rectangle. So we have x being multiplied by both the 3 and by the 2 portions. So we do 3 times x, which we don't need our parenthesis, so it'd be 3x. And then the 2 times the x, so again, we get 2x. Or we can do x times 3 plus 2. And it did not ask us to simplify any of that, so we would just leave them like that. Okay, and on this one, on B, we would do 1 5/10 x plus 1 5/10 times 5. And the other way we would write it would be 1 5/10 times x plus 5. And I did hit record. Okay. Okay, so on this last slide, you need to find the missing parts to make each sentence true. Go ahead and pause your computer, your video, and go ahead and copy these down, fill each one in, and then when you are ready, go ahead and hit play again, and you will get the answers all filled in, and I'll talk you through them all. Okay, so on number 1, we do 12 times 6 plus 4 in parentheses. So when we break it apart, we get 12 times 6 plus 12 times 4. Number 2, 2 times n plus 4. When we break it apart, the n has to go in the first box, and the 2 has to go in the second box. Number 3, n times 5 plus n times 3. N is the multiplier of the 5 plus 3. Number 4, negative 3 times 5 plus negative 3 times 7, because negative 3 is being multiplied by the 5 plus 7. So in the last box, we get the negative 5. I'm sorry, positive 5. Number 5, we have 4n plus 11n. N is the multiplier in both of those cases. And in the parentheses, we get the 4 and the 11. Okay, so if you have any questions for me, please, if you're in my 7th hour, you need to write them down. 2nd hour, we're going to see if we can get a lab and do this. So I'll be in the lab with you so you can ask them of me as we go through. Hope you enjoyed getting this modified flip lesson because we're doing it through the school day. Thanks. Bye.